Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you're doing well. Today, it's my honor and pleasure to do a creative intuitive transmission, a CIT, as we call it. And as always, for those who don't know these weekly sessions, CITs are transmissions that are shared with you very humbly on a weekly basis. And the inspiration or message usually comes from the Mella collective, which is the soul cluster or soul group that I am part of. So I am in no way doing any channeling. This is simply a connection of the heart or from my higher soul, my higher self, connected to these lovely souls that I am of the group I am part of. And they often share a message through me in my own words and through my experiences, everyday experiences that kind of nourish and kind of ground the message into the reality that we all go through on a daily basis as humans on Terra. So today, the topic that was suggested to us is one bite at a time, maintaining harmony. So we are presently in a place on Terra, in a phase where things are changing quite rapidly, lots of disclosure taking place, lots of transformations taking place in our society, but also within ourselves as individuals, because we are opening our consciousness to new paradigms, new perspectives, new ways of seeing things. And that obviously has an impact in our everyday life in terms of our life choices, our activities, what we decide to focus our priorities and energy in. Some of you might be in a place where you're done with a previous occupation, activity, you're moving on towards something that nourishes you more because it's closer to your values or to your soul connection. And things like that, just an example. But you might end up, as I have been lately, being very busy, either in a new activity or just life throwing things at you from one side to the other, one from the right, from the left. And, you know, for some people, it can be on the positive side of things. For others, it could be more on the challenging part of things. As we know, for example, with some people have been going through some terrible difficulties with weather in Florida. So, I mean, this is something that completely changes your life and turns your life upside down. You end up being completely, you know, have to rebuild your life or rebuild a life, you know, from all kinds of reasons. You might be in a place right now where you're extremely busy, you're caught up into a busyness, into an activity that takes a lot of your energy and time. Maybe on the kind of positive, constructive side of things, or it can be a little more like challenging part of things, maybe a job you're not crazy about, but that you have to still do, or task, which demands a lot of your time and energy and investment of energy and time. So the point of today is really not so much to talk about these circumstances themselves, because they can be of all kind, positive, negative. In any case, everything always ends up being positive because it's always an opportunity to grow and evolve as souls and as people. But, you know, some situations can be more challenging than others. The point of today is to talk more about how can we maintain a posture of consciousness, of presence and harmony in our life circumstances when we are caught up in a great amount of activity or doing or things happening in our lives, maybe positive or on a more challenging side of things. Because it's easy to get kind of swept up into the movement, into the kind of vortex of activity or of worry or of to-do lists and extreme occupation, and kind of lose track of our priorities. And you probably noticed that yourself, and it has happened to me as well a lot. You know, when you're caught up into something that takes a lot of your time and your energy, a project, a situation, a life circumstance, Sometimes you tend to think, oh, okay, well, this is too important. It's taking too much of my time. I don't have time to do my meditation. Like I'll do my meditation when I have time. Or it's all right. I'm just going to eat like a sandwich on the side of my table. I don't have time to like cook myself a nice, respectful meal for my body. I'm just going to grab something to eat on the corner and move on with the activity I need to do. Or, I need to do this like 12 hours a day and really it needs to be done. So the hell with my sleep. And, I'm just going to work this like big time. And even if I have to exhaust myself, then I'm going to lack the sleep. But it's all right because it's just about that I need to go through for a certain period of time, and I'm going to just invest a lot of energy in that time. There's a logic to this reflection or to these decisions. There's a logic to it, but again, I'm using the word logic because logic is related to the brain, and that's really what your brain is telling you, like, oh, I want this to be done, so I'm going to sacrifice this and that. However, if we were to stay in the posture and the place of our heart rather than our brains, and in the place of our heart, we would know what's best for us. And sometimes what's best for us and our soul and our body is not necessarily to work like 12 hours a day on a project or on something, or it's not perhaps ideal to sacrifice sleep or good nutrition or good connected time to yourself, to your soul through meditation and things like that. So if we were to listen to our heart and soul, we would probably choose otherwise or put a little bit more harmony in our decisions. And so this is why we are invited to change our paradigm if we are in a situation where we're caught up in a very intense situation or project, and instead take one bite at a time. And we have an expression in English, in French, which is called à chaque jour suffit sa peine. To each day, I don't know how to translate this, to each day is worth like a certain amount of effort. It's really badly translated. The point is, there is so much you can do in a day, basically, and there is so much you should be doing in a day. Like, overwhelming yourself with a ton of activity or projects or things, either on the positive or more challenging side of things, is understandable. It comes from a desire to make things more harmonious around you and more manageable, or but sometimes it comes from a place of anxiety where you feel, oh, I don't have enough time, so I have to do this like intensely, so it's going to be done and dealt with. But then you're not respecting in any way the equilibrium and harmony of your daily life, your body, your soul, what they need. And so taking small bites one at a time is something that is suggested and encouraged today by the Mella Collective, my soul cluster, but also by myself, because as always, as I say, these CITs come in a context of my own experiences. This way I bring some kind of grounded spirituality or grounded tips that come from my own experience. So just to give you a little bit of a background, I'm presently involved in a very, very fascinating and exciting project that I can't speak about yet. It will be revealed in a few weeks, but it will be in support of our whole galactic community. And so that's it. That's all I'm going to say. But it's a project that I find extremely exciting because it uses my gifts or my talents, and I say this humbly, but my capacity, and it's something that I love doing. I really, really love doing. It's a passion for me. It's been for many years. And this project is a kind of a long-term engagement in terms of energy, because it takes a lot of time to do and demands a lot of time and energy on my part on a daily basis. And because of that, and because I'm a Gemini and I like things to be quickly done and over with, this way I'm, it's done and I can move on to something else, I have this tendency to get like really into it, to the point where naturally, if I wasn't pacing myself, I would end up like doing this, 20 hours a day, 6 days a week, which would be easy to do because it takes a lot of that time and energy. However, I need to remind myself, have you done your meditation this morning? Have you cooked a nice lunch for yourself and ate it in presence, not like watching 300 videos and, multitasking, but just really be in front of my window watching my autumn tree sway in the autumn leaves and just eat in a present state. Am I stopping my computer at a certain time during the day in the evening to spend some time with myself to just read or sleep or rest? Am I taking my Wednesday off because I need my Wednesday off electronics in order to recuperate and keep some mental sanity? And it would be really, really easy for me to just say, oh, the hell with that. When I'm finished with that project, then I will go back to these things. And it would be easy to do that. And I've been tempted like every day lately to like, oh, okay, I'm just going to skip my meditation today, or I'm going to skip my meal or whatever. The problem with that is that obviously you end up in a posture of disharmony, and you end up exhausting yourself, and you end up, just not being, aligned with what, because you're not just a mind. Like for me, it's a project that requires a lot of my mind. So I'm really in my mind, but my body needs to rest. My body needs to be fed. My spirit, my soul needs to be connected through meditation or rest or having dreams at night when I'm sleeping a good 8 hours of sleep and so on. So this is, something that I keep having to remind myself like daily in these days. So maybe this resonates with you. Maybe you are presently invested in a project or a new life circumstance or a new job, or maybe it's something that's more challenging for you. Maybe a task you're not crazy about that has to do with your everyday job, or you're kind of forced into a new lifestyle or a new life because, things kind of crumbled around you, and then you're kind of caught up into that and you're thinking, oh, well, it's no time for meditation right now. Like, I'm just trying to rebuild my life. Like, I'll do meditation later. But no, meditation in the morning, or all these beautiful moments of void and calm and centeredness and alignment you give to yourself will be nourishing the quality of your everyday life and your project, may it be on the positive or more challenging side of things. So never ignore that in your everyday life, because it helps you cope and deal with the everyday situations in your life. So that's really the essence of Mella Collective's message today, which I am part of. So it's also my message, because it's something I'm presently kind of having to remind myself on a constant basis. So I hope that resonates with you in some ways if you are going through presently some intense activities and occupations. So let's have a look at our how the iconography, so the symbolism of representation, is going to help us today to get a little bit more tips or clues about, how to interpret this message and how to ground it into our mind, our soul, and our body. So today, the background that was chosen by the Mella Collective is a beautiful background of a slow turtle that is walking in nature. And there is a kind of a water, I don't know how to say this, there's a body of water in the back with a boat. I don't know if you can see it here with a boat. My hand is not showing it well, but yeah, and there's a boat here to go to the other side of maybe an island or another part of the scenery here. And this beautiful turtle is carrying on her back a whole ecosystem, a forest with rocks, with animals. There's like birds flying over. There's vegetal, mineral life there. And obviously it's symbolic, but it really represents a whole ecosystem that's in equilibrium, in harmony, because a forest to be thriving needs all the elements, the mushrooms, the fertile earth, the water, the wind, the air, everything is in harmony, in an ecosystem. So symbolically, this turtle who is going one bite at a time, one step at a time, slowly but surely. And I don't know if you remember the whole legend or tale or story of the hare and the turtle, like the hare wants to go faster, and he's kind of joking at the turtle who's just like going one step at a time, slowly but surely, but in the end doesn't win the race because he's going too fast and exhausts himself, and then the turtle ends up winning the race because it goes slow but surely, one pace at a time, one bite at a time. So there's the metaphor here of this turtle going slowly but surely and maintaining on her back a whole harmonized ecosystem. And that goes for ourselves. If we take one step at a time, and we take one bite at a time, and we pace our activities and our engagement, energetical engagement in certain activities or things, then we're able to maintain our harmonious ecosystem within our own self, which is the alignment and harmony of our body, mind, emotional, and spiritual selves. Everything remains in harmony. And because this turtle is taking one day at a time with a harmonious amount of activity, while the contrast with rest and with taking time for yourself, she's able to go slowly but surely towards this river bank, and she's going to be able to kind of cross over to another part of the land. So she's moving on. She's able to go from one project to another project, symbolically, from one space to another space, by going slowly but surely, one bite at a time. So this is how I interpret this beautiful background. So now let's have a look at our Japanese washi chiyogami paper collage that we created today to illustrate this message, and in which the frequencies of the message, but of the Mella Collective, is also imbued, as always, in our CIT today. So I'm pushing a little bit this way, you're going to see the collage better. So this collage is entitled Kentaïl, that is spelled here. So Kentaïl, as you can see, is a collage made of a background paper that is blue in nature. There's a darker and lighter blue, but that is very, very, very busy. It's a very busy paper. Lots of things going on there. You have birds in flight, going kind of a little bit everywhere, flying everywhere. You have these kind of cloud wave type of forms that are going, right and left, and it's kind of tough to, make a pattern out of all this. It's a little bit like intense and busy, but obviously, and you have like elements of black, which for me could represent a little bit more like challenges, which are kind of lining these waves of events. But you also have some gold in there, golden elements there, that also for me represent source, the energy of source, and of the fractals of source that we all are. And so there's also a gift. If there are challenges in this hyperactivity and super busyness, there are also gifts in there, because there are lessons to be learned from how we keep a harmonized posture within this kind of chaos of activity and, busyness. Then we have the central circle, which is a kind of gold and black in color. And we have a very regular kind of motif, which could be described as a scale motif, but that it's actually in Japanese iconography a motif of waves, but that is stylized. So the waves, which normally are kind of busy and kind of overwhelming and chaotic, in that context are very ordered. They're paced, they're regularized, they're harmonized. So it's not like a constant up and down. It's like things are being measured and paced. So there's, again, black and gold elements there that remind us that within the activities of things, we can find the treasure of finding balance, in this hyperactivity, which can be challenging. We can find that balance, which is this connection to our connection to source, to the fractal of source that we are, soul, and keeping a balance between extremes. And this round golden and black circle for me really represents the return to the center, the return to the fractal of source that we are, to our soul, in order to, from that space and that posture of realignment, center, harmony, we are then able to deal with the busy exterior and with things to do. So it's really a representation of harmony, of things being paced, going within, not paced, but paced in the sense that it's you're pacing things. You're taking a rhythm, that you're adapting a rhythm that is paced and that is manageable and reasonable and harmonious for all the parts of your being. And in order to keep this harmony and to keep this kind of paced rhythm, in regards to everything happening in your life, we have a central circle, which is the red circle, connection to the heart, which is always the representation I use with this red circle. The connection to the heart is where you're going to be able to say, I'm not thinking with my brain, even if my brain wants to work 24 hours a day for a reason or another on that project. If I go to my heart will tell me that I need some rest, or that this morning I need to do some meditation, or I need to eat well, or I need to sleep 8 hours and not to take too many big bites at the same time. So your heart connection will keep you grounded, will keep you centered, will keep you connected to what you really need in order to have a paced and harmonized rhythm in times of great busyness and challenges, or just exciting projects. Then we have two circles up and down, which are blue with little blue, white and blue flowers. Again, kind of a busy type of paper, which represents, again, a little bit of that busyness, but can be, either really exciting busyness or challenging busyness. But in any case, it's busyness for sure. It's what life kind of throws at you in terms of activities, or that you decide to include in your life. And there's joy in that. There's that beautiful blue color, which really represents the joy of these projects or investment of energy. And then there's also a little black spot there with some gold, as always, to create the contrast of the gift that lies always in challenges. The little black spot there really represent that within the joyful, busy project you might have, there is always that risk of being in hyper busyness and losing yourself. So it's kind of a reminder of, that danger of kind of falling into over indulging into doing things. And then you have on each side this little kind of branch, which is gold, made of gold paper with the flower of life, which represents the energy of source, or the fractal of source that we all are. And in that case, what it represents is that in those little blue and black kind of moments of busyness, you can always have a kind of a flowing activity that is based in the energy of source, or the fractal of source that you are, meaning grounded into harmony, and not like just being exploding with busyness, but just paced and harmonized through a connection of the heart to the soul, to the fractal of source that we are, and through source, to keep all of this activity harmonious and manageable, So this is how I interpret this collage. Kentaïl is actually available as an original collage in my online boutique or art shop, abigaëllerichard.com, and also available as a digital file. Both the original and digital file are imbued with the frequency, the high frequency and high vibration of Mella Collective's message and nature. And so being electronic doesn't mean that there's no high vibes there. So, you can also explore that. And so this is available on my online boutique. So I hope the message today has inspired you. Maybe some of you are like me right now, trying to fight within themselves the tendency to get caught up in too much activity and too much doing. And it's either because it's exciting or because you kind of have to, because life is kind of throwing it at you. That doesn't mean that you don't have your word to say and that you can't put your foot down and just respect yourself and just take that time that your body, your mind, your emotions, and your soul need for themselves to keep harmony, rest, meditation, going within, good nutrition, good sleep. And then when all of this is harmonized, you're just going to be blooming even more in your projects, in your activity, and you'll be much more centered, aligned. You'll do things much more aligned, and things will come out better in any case. So, you're giving yourself a gift by offering you the time you need to rest, to realign, and to recenter. So that's the message for this week. I hope it has resonated with you. I wish you a lovely, busy day. Take some rest, take immense care of yourself, and stay in high vibes. Much love to you. Take care. Bye.